Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with you. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
Right, mate. Without further ado, how are you doing, Mr.
Man,
Vice?
doing great, doing great, doing great. How y'all doing?
Mate,
Hello.
yes. Well, this is Yvonne on the stream. Yvonne, this is Mark. Mate, it's a pleasure to see your smiley face. I'm glad you're doing well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How y'all doing this evening? Well, this afternoon over here.
Yeah, well, it's 20 to 9 here. It's cold. It's dark. England's under some intense shock treatment, but we're trying to remain positive and trying to wonder how we're going to get a positive conclusion from this, Mark.
A positive one. That's tough. That's. Matter of fact, I was just now talking about that. Not too long ago. Now, I can gauge what's going to happen, but the reaction, that's another story. I'm more worried about the reaction than the actual outcome.
And that is something I do understand.
Because you have individuals made to feel a certain way about someone, and once they get it in their head, and it's stuck. So but I honestly feel like the Democratic Party here set them up, because they're going to be done in both ways. So I just realized all that, because let me give you an example, okay?
Go on, explain to the viewers where you are and what's got you to that point of view with your mind. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that are on here that are maybe not aware of things that you are. So what is it that sparked your interest? What is it that set your mind thinking and got you to the frame of mind that you're in now?
Get it! Get it!
Honestly,
because everybody says to me, right, is do your research. And it's like, well, I don't want to do my research. Explain to me where you got to your point of mind, why you're so sure that this is it. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not trying to cause a debate. I'm just like, my mind is a sponge. My mind is a sponge. So do you know what? Instead of me going off and doing my research, educate me. Put this language, make me understand as if I was a 5-year-old child, and that way then no one's going to get confused. Do you know what I mean? Let's have this ABC, let's not go down conspiracy, and let's just stick with facts and reality.
Well, when I started this, I was doing regular TikTok videos, like funny videos. I wasn't interested in politics. I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't even know really the form of our government. Honestly, it was I think February, and I was sitting on the couch, and something came on about Blue's Clues, and it's kind of crazy how it started. And so I was like, man, they counseling Blue's Clues, and I found it to be kind of frivolous. Like, why would you do this? Then they came out there, Chase, the little cartoon character, the police officer. So, not Blue's Clues. Forgive me. It was Chase. It was Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol. So, and I was like, wow, you're going after Paw Patrol because of the police dog. And I found it to be kind of, I was like, wow. So I did a video on it, and I went to bed, and I woke up, and I had a overwhelmingly response. So I left everything alone. I went to bed the next day. Well, when I was sleeping, it's like kind of voice come in your head, and he asked me a question: are you willing to accept anything to come with this? And I thought about it. I was like, like, with what? And I'm legit having a conversation with myself, and it was like, well, you need to do this. And I was like, yeah. So the next day I got up and I made a video, and it just took off from there. But surprisingly, I don't study. I don't do a lot of research, because everything's in front of us. Individuals look at, Newton and Einstein and Socrates and all these individuals, and they think that say a school educated them, or how is this person just smart like that? Because it's not that they're better than you or over you, it's because somehow
they're good at remembering things.
Yeah, but they tapped into that natural ability to know. I didn't graduate in 10th grade.
But there's a difference between remembering a sentence and understanding and knowing what that sentence is. And I think a lot of smart people today basically are good at remembering and don't actually understand words they're using.
Well, you're right about that, because I when I make my videos, but I don't understand the level of the importance of that video. So it may take me 3 days and something may come up, and I was like, wow, so that's what that meant. So I don't understand my videos like completely at that time. It may take 2 or 3 days, or something may come on TV, or I may run across something that put it all together. I don't make my videos based upon a topics per se. I kind of just go.
So what is actually happening over in America with the elections, and what's the actual feel of America, or your community? How do your people in your community deal with this?
It's divided, and it was set up. So if you look at it, how can I get a bunch of people to push a narrative for me? Now, usually it's used by the impoverished area, Black community, whatever you want to call it, because now if I have control over the LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, and NAACP, and so what I do is I control these organizations, and the organizations control the people. Yeah. Well, and now the Republican Party is just stuck with, quote, so-called white people, because they have the people in need, per se. So it's the Pinocchio effect. Individuals have traded their freedom for the victimhood. I'm a victim, so therefore you owe me. Yeah. Individuals have traded their freedom for the victimhood. And I don't understand, if we're all in the same time period, how are the citizens responsible for something that happened 400 years ago? The systemic racism is in the system, not the society. The systemic racism is in the system, not the society. So
systemic racism within America, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, that I think systemic racism within America is within people's mind more than it is in reality.
Exactly. You're right.
It's mental slavery. Like you said, you cannot blame the actions from 400 years ago. And judge them by and judge them by our society and how we've evolved, because 400 years ago, we've evolved as humans. What were considered to be right, what were considered to be normal and acceptable is no way normal and acceptable now. So how can we judge 400 years on our morals?
For us, it's a way of justification. It's a way to put off that responsibility in when the individual not understanding what they're. It's kind of like an argument with your spouse or whatever. The argument is very, very small and have no bearing on what's going to happen today or tomorrow. But it's the point of, I want to be right, and I want individuals to acknowledge that I'm right, so we can have the smallest argument, and until you say, you know what, you're right, but okay, it's over with. Now, did we gain any money? Did we get any smarter, or what was the goal? And that's what it's all about. It's about, I want to prove that you are racist, but you're targeting the wrong people. If it's systemic racism, then why water the system?
Well, yeah.
I'm not, but it's not. But the system.
I see where you're coming from now. Sorry to butt in here because I'm going to go. I'm going to leave Yvonne to this because she's nailing it. I'm sat in the background commanding comments, but you two are having a great conversation. There's something that
he's an intelligent man and he's open-minded. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day,
you're intuitive, and I think that's what your post is all about. You talk from your gut, you talk from your instincts, you talk from your life experiences. You're not doing it from research, it's from what you can see as an intellectual, tapping into your philosophy and tapping into what your morals and, your common sense all that. That's what I can see with you, mate. And it works because that is true and it's natural. In a world where we've just been speaking about it with Yvonne, in a world where we've got so much information being batted about that looks official, not quite the truth, sends you down a rabbit hole. We need more people who are on a spiritual, grounded, level sense that's talking from the gut about what they can see in their true life experiences.
Well, it's two words. It's two words that if individuals understand these two words, they can understand it better. And it's implicit and explicit. Now, the individuals, they can read a story, and what they're going to do is they're just going to take what they got out of it. It's like, oh, I'm going to ignore the facts and just go on. But it's another thing is you have to be self-aware, and you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to hold yourself accountable. Now, if you can be honest with
that is the big thing, and that's holding yourself accountable.
Yes, I always ask myself before I put something on someone else, I always ask myself this question: could I have done something better in that situation? With the conclusion that what I've done all I can do. I'm not going to place blame on myself, but if I've done all I can do, then I've done all I can do. It's not about me being right. It's about me, okay, let me assess the situation. Now, if I'm right, this is what I need to do. Not be I'm right and I'm going to just keep going on. Yeah. But so you have to take an action on, if I'm right, I'm not going to just stay stuck and then keep being right.
This is what's really tricky about this, because whether you like it or not, you've got to keep mentally calibrating yourself, putting yourself in check, putting yourself where that information is, seeing the likelihood, the rationale, not getting outraged about it, have to have enough composure where you don't get affected by it. And that's difficult to do, particularly now in the fear that because people respond differently to fear and trauma. So what you're saying is so true, mate.
Well, if you look at if someone can do this, if I can notice, if let's say I'm doing a video and I'm doing this, right? If I can notice, hey, I am doing this while I'm talking, that I'm self-aware. Someone should have to tell you, hey, you're tapping. Oh, I am. Well, if I'm licking my lips in my video or whatever, now if I can honestly catch myself and say, oh, I need to stop, then now you're so self-aware that now you can see everything. Because when I walk into a store, I don't walk in with tunnel vision, and everybody's a blob or no one exists. I see everyone when I go places because I like to observe people, how they move, and we have to be so self-aware. We don't. We are in our own world, and we're stuck in our own world.
Well, most people are glued to Facebook or to the phone. That's why we don't recognize our own surroundings.
Well, even without Facebook, it's like I want to be the center of attention, or even let's say you with your spouse, your mom. What can you do for me? How can this individual benefit me? And that's what most marriages and stuff and relationships is that, okay, this person benefits me somehow, versus how can I benefit them? And we throw people away. So I feel like, honestly.
But that's what we've been programming into kids for years, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Not to value relationships, and you look at your apps and it's just like there's someone better that's going to make your life perfect just to swipe away.
Well, to break in there, guys. I mean, just to reinforce what you guys are talking about, it's been a drip, hasn't it? It's been a slow erosion of the community, getting to know one another, particularly family. Now, Mark, just sliding across, but it's actually on the same topic. I was showing something that was sent to me by a lady called Dolly Daydream, another YouTuber. Hi, if she's watching. If she's watching this retrospectively, you're a star. But this is something apparently that was on your media yesterday. Apparently something that's been put over. Now, I'm going to put it up here. This was something that was put on the telly. Gender terms banned under new House rules. And House rules package for the 117 Congress, Clause 8, bracket C, bracket 3 of the Rule 23, apparently. This is basically saying, whether this is true or not, it looks legitimate, that all these words now are currently going to be eroded from being used in order to be inclusive, diverse, whatever you want to call it. Talking about the Black Lives Matter manifesto, pardon me, part of it was break down the nuclear family. We know part of that with the communist Marxist element is also to divide people on any kind of faction that they can, and breaking and changing the language and ultimately how we can communicate with one another, which will create a divide.
And it's how we'll see each other as well. Do you know what I mean? If you talk about your mum, and when you mention mum, you get that warm feeling. You talk about your brother, you talk about your sister, you talk about family members. It gives you that warm feeling. So when you take "you are my mum" away, do you know what I mean? And it's "you are just the person that made me." Then that breaks that connection. It makes it less human. Do you understand what I mean? You're taking that humanity and soul out of family unit by removing certain words. Because when you remove a certain word, then what you're doing is you're also removing that emotion as well.
My opinion on that is you confuse the family structure more. Now, if I can keep mothers and fathers unbalanced, then no one knows what their role is. Here in the U.S., everyone's pretty much speak the same language in the dialect or whatever. The only thing that they have to separate is to go back off of history and use slavery and use women couldn't vote and gays couldn't marry. So it's like, okay, let's use that because it already existed. So let's jump on that problem, make it bigger. Now Now what we can do is we can make these people vote for us as a political party, right? And I have them forever.
It's the same again. It's identity politics, which what they use over here, mate. They've done their best to drive a wedge between black people and white people. They've done the best to statute purge, to make what is the indigenous race in this country, which happens to be white. Black people might not want to hear that, but that is fact. Not to say that is good or bad. We've just got to say. But the bottom line is, people have been made to feel guilty of their heritage, of what the core family is all about. And even if they allude to their core family and heritage, it automatically has to stem back to systemic racism. Now, to put anyone under such a dark cloud for just waking up in the morning, people have enough, Mark. People have had enough. And the same thing again, problem, reaction, solution. We've got a scenario here where when people talk about this situation, they're either deemed racist for bringing it up because they're not diverse enough, or they're called far right. Trump fans and people who support fringes around that have been called that in America as well. But same again, that's been used as a tool to agitate people and then get people to double down in that very position. So I've had people, when I've been going to marches and doing interviews, they'll turn around to me and say, you know what, they've used that term racist to me that many times. I don't even care whether they do it anymore. Now, that is bad, because then they actually don't mind being called a racist. So in some cases, they will exacerbate that, knowing that the person thinks I'm a racist anyway. So why don't I push the boundaries a little bit? So then, because of the psychological thing that's gone on there, that's pushed you to somewhere you probably wouldn't have gone.
I got a question, Phil, for the American people. I've been curious about this, and it's been eating me alive. I should have been asked you this during the George Floyd case. Okay, now I know it happened here. How in the world did it jump over there at the same time? Because a lot of African Americans, black women,
it were orchestrated, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? It were a setup, it were a plan. That's why it come over to England.
Talk about slavery. We talk about slavery here, and for African Americans, whatever, like say, we don't know the culture and the life of over there. So we don't think of, hey, they got dark people over there in the UK, and so you get what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, it was just about me with slavery over here. So I mean, there is no mentioning of any ethnic groups over there in the UK. Like individuals don't even understand ethnicity over there. And like how did George Floyd start two countries?
It were just a way of dividing people and causing trouble. Do you understand what I mean? And they thought they'd be able to carry it on, and they'd have the looting and the burning of the shops like obviously you did in America. So they thought obviously that'll transfer over. But in England,
that was weird,
because we've not had that racism. We've not got grandmas that have seen dead people hanging in trees, so we've not experienced that. So because we've not experienced that, then it just couldn't transpire into England. It were like, well, you're blaming us for having, being white and, being racist. But I can assure you there's nobody in my family that ever owned any slaves or were involved in that. And it was the suffragettes in England that helped stop slavery. And plus, we also had slavery in England, where you had white slaves from England and Ireland that were taken out to Arab countries.
Yvonne, what I do want to say here, you don't have to justify your heritage on this channel, okay? That's the one thing you don't have to.
Yeah, you better speak your mind.
I don't have to justify mine any more than yours or any more than Mark. So, honestly, you don't have to go there. You appreciate why you were doing it, but don't seriously, because we're not leftists. We're just straight in the middle of everyone, and we don't take any of that baggage from previous years and apply it to our living space now. And I think that's been the major problem, that people are that confused in their identities, that crush mark, that what I feel has happened, and I do agree with a lot of what Yvonne said there. The news is very generic. The news in your country is just like the news in our country. The way they disseminate it, it's almost, I always liken it to a pop record. So when a pop record hits off in New York, then runs through all the states, Snoop Dogg, whoever it is, in a week, you'll have Radio 1, you'll have all the British and English news stations pumping it, mate. Not just playing it, but pumping it to the point where before you know it, it's number one over here. So it's very much manipulated what is going on and what they choose to actually push across. So the one thing that you've got to realise, and hopefully your American supporters and listeners will realise, is that what you get is exactly what we get in many ways. Now,
a lot, we get it all.
They're also doing the same thing on a nefarious side, because the balanced story that happens in America, they suppress from England. The balanced story that happens in England, suppress in America. So that's why you're asking me situations and I'm asking you situations, because they're keeping us both in the dark whilst putting their own narrative out that is making sure that a black man in London or a black man in Toxteth, Liverpool feels exactly the same way about colonialism as California or somewhere in Chicago, even though, like Yvonne says, we have not got the same level of racism. We have not gone through that same segregation and Martin Luther King.
Well, I haven't either. I haven't either.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? One of the footages that you did get out in America, did it happen to be the one where they toppled the statue and the police took the knee and the statue went in the river? Did that go viral in America?
Oh man, you know that went viral. Everything go
There
viral with
you
something
go.
like that. So
I
let me,
mean,
so y'all was
if
like,
that's
y'all was,
basically controlling what America gets to see in England, so that
Mhm.
was a really one-off incident. Do you understand what I
So
mean? It got stamped out very quickly, but to then show like England are behind it all, and you know, it's exactly saying what's happening in America is happening in England is by releasing that one shocking footage.
all right, so during the unrest, all right, there's been a lot of merging of companies, trade routes, all-inclusive united front for all countries, okay, for all governments. Well, the United States is incorporated just like China's. Australia's incorporated, right? Australia just got incorporated in 2020. Well, in the U.S., it's these United States of America. So each state has sovereignty. The federal government has no rule over all states, but yet the United States is incorporated. Well, how can I get the United States to be incorporated? Coronavirus. Okay, so what I do is I shut down the states so they can't generate money. All right. And then I push these stimulus packages out. And what happens is now the state go broke, and now each state has to depend on the federal government. Once that happens, now the federal government gains control over all states. And what I do is
I don't know how it will play out in November, but what we know is that we will end up with many more unemployed, and particularly also people in the gray economy, which are not counted for, who lose their jobs. So we will see definitively a lot of anger already now, but probably increased by the end of the year, because this crisis will be with us until we really have found a remedy. So we have to prepare for a more angry world, and how to prepare? It means to take the necessary action to create a fairer world, to see that we provide everybody with decent access to the health system, that we make sure that those people who are really left behind, and I'm not speaking only on national levels, I'm speaking also internationally. If I see now the tragedy in some of the emerging countries like South Africa, like some countries in East Asia, I think it's all, I don't have too many remedies, but I just see the need for such a dialogue. I can break it down like whatever you want. And I see the need for action. I see the need for a great reset.
I get control over the Senate, the House, the presidency, and the Fed. The Fed was going to hand over some authority to the Treasury, because they deal with the same financial advisor, handler. So they was going to control all the money. When you're talking about having that much money, and I might be able to join with the UK in that whole situation, because if I join with y'all, that will make it more powerful, so that no one, China, anyone can touch it. Because you know, Canada, the trade routes about to open up big in Canada, because the ice is melting and China buying up all the ports, and they're trapping people. So to build a strong country, right, you just join corporations, not countries. When you have this, and I have the videos, I'm sharing with you all so you can actually see, they've been saying it. They've been leaving breadcrumbs this whole time. No one connected the dots as far as when it's all inclusive, because by our Constitution, there is nationalism. You're not supposed to go outside of your country, because that makes your country weak.
Let's get to work.
No doubt.
If you're talking about shutting down, the people and put them on a universal basic income, wow, what are we doing? You putting everybody on universal basic income, that's bad. That's like really, really bad. You control them. It's like welfare. I tell you when to eat, I tell you to live. They almost got away with it. Seriously, they did.
No, same again, mate. This is generic because they're doing exactly the same thing in England. They've killed the economy. Shut independent.
Really killed the economy. It's scary.
You can't believe
When furloughs ended, you are going to have millions of people that
Now,
are on that universal credit.
I got a question for you, and it's really important.
Yes.
Are y'all? So you're UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are now you're not in the EU no more, right?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So are you a solid country with Australia, Canada, New Zealand?
I think we've got trademarks but we're in our class as a sovereign country.
Y'all still classified as separate countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all got to understand that there will be gods here to connect to the bigger plan, the bigger picture. You were talking about it before, about breaking the economy to make the people dependent. Going back to what I was saying before, it's exactly what's happening here. We've got a scheme that we call the furlough scheme, which means that anyone now within a business of a certain size can apply to get wages paid for. Now, in some cases, it was 100% wages. In some cases, it was 80%. And it'll probably keep falling and falling. But basically, it's best part of the year, you've kept your workforce on this scheme. Some are actually finding a way to go back in the office. Some are not working at all. So then you've got a level of dependency that is really sweeping the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So if these businesses don't open back up, there's going to be a lot of employed people or people that have been so dependent without the work skill, without the sense of purpose anymore. So you can see 2-3 years down the line, the detrimental effect of keeping people welfare all the time. That's why.
Did you know y'all had 748 million people in Europe?
No, I didn't.
Did you know? Did you know that they want to get them down to 500 million?
Yeah.
How do you depopulate?
Well,
we can't really say it because if we say it, we'll all get blocked off as.
No. I'm just saying. You just put it up. You put it up on the screen when you asked about the structure, the family structure.
Well, right. Okay. Yeah.
And the names. So you get people to not populate.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it's two things that human race don't understand, and they do. Now it's nature and program. Okay. Now individuals always they're trying to figure out why does nature evolve the way it does? Is because nature evolves without interference. It's kind of like painting a picture. So if I come in and paint a picture with an idea of the end in sight, then I am programming it. Now, if I come in and paint a picture and I just just let myself just float, now I'm evolving because I don't see the end and I'm allowing myself to be in tune. We got a habit of, we always have to create and we got to see the end result. It's like you processing, you creating a computer, the algorithm. Well, our minds work on the algorithm, and whoever molds and teach that algorithm controls that mind. Well, that's what our school systems and stuff is designed to do. It's designed to control our minds and that algorithm based on the way we think, how our mind processes. So you can't evolve if you're stuck in a program. Sure. And so now how can you honestly truly break out of that program? It's so hard. It really is. And you can show someone something. I don't try this, okay? And now my brother asked the question. I showed him not from my mouth, but from the mouth of what he needed to see. Well, he didn't respond. He's still talking. So I was like, okay, listen. I said, no, He was still arguing. Like, show them again. Well, we block out what we need to see because we want to be right, and I need to force my opinion. Even though I showed you in your face, you don't want to believe it. You know, but it's not that they don't want to believe it; they can't see. They got blinders on. So individuals think that, well, they don't want to believe. No, they honestly cannot see. I mean, even if you show somebody, have y'all seen a study that
well, they're looking at world through a different perspective, aren't they, in a different way, so they're not going to see.
They tell people who got PTSD, you know what they tell them? Let's give you some medication and a puppy. Well, that's not what they need. The reason why they have PTSD is because if you take someone out of a situation and you put them into a situation that their mind couldn't, that's like you put him on an alien spaceship. Like, he never believed in aliens. He didn't think it existed. Well, you take him up there, and now he's like, what in the world? And now he have to conform to life there, and you bring him back.
It's like a cognitive comfort zone, isn't it?
Yes. Medication won't help. It's all about, we have to be able to open our minds up. Don't believe, but open our mind up. Say, you know what? This could happen. I'm not saying I believe in it, but if an alien dropped in my yard right now, I tell people this, I won't be surprised, because you can't surprise me if my mind is open to many different things, you know. But if it's closed to it, I'm like, whoa, you know, just have an open.
Mark, to me, sorry to cut you off, but mate, point. That's where we're at today. Then, no shared truth, and people that are living that have been shocked into something that cognitively they wasn't prepared for. So if that's the case, how do we get them and us, because it's happening to red pill people again, being re-shocked again, even though they thought they were red pilled, a lot of people who are red pilled are suffering with this as well. How do we get everyone back to an equilibrium now?
Oh, crikey, thanks for that one. Pushing me first.
Well, I answer.
We just have to awaken, don't we? I mean, I don't think people are going to be red pilled and they're going to wake up and it's going to be their own time and their own doing, whether it be through mainstream media, whether it be through on Facebook, do you know what I mean? And it's just going to be a slow process. But I think that humanity is going to have to dip a little bit lower for that kind of shift, that kind of awakening. And right now, it affects a lot of people on the internet, but not a lot of people to know. So when things start getting worse and it starts affecting people that they know, do you know what I mean, like real friends and family and things like that, then I think shift to humanity, isn't it? Things have got to get better.
You can get a veteran out of PTSD and cure them from PTSD before you can get someone that's been here in society and understands society and get them to wake up. Seriously, because the veteran has seen things and been through things that now, if he opened up his mind, he knows that many things is possible. But someone that's never having been through anything, they're still stuck. That's a lot harder. But it's kind of like now the war veteran is an alcoholic. Let's say now the alcoholic is not going to change until they're ready to change. You know, and you can't force them to change. All you can do is let go. You have to let go. The more you force, the more they're going to rebel. The individuals that are awakened, what they have to do is come together themselves. Now, we can't live amongst these individuals because they're going to swallow you up, you know. And if you're too open, then you already know they're going to shut you down. That's what they're doing right now. Well, individuals are going to have to come to get literally. I don't care if you got to go find a huge plot of land, and you go out there. Now, eventually, guess what's going to happen? Those individuals are going to say, "What are they doing over there?" You know, they're living pretty good over there, and they're going to want some. So now it's going to force them to open up. You know, but like
you're going to force them to open up or just take it off you.
Yeah, but like you
Because
say,
I mean, everybody says like, you know, run away, go into middle of woods and find somewhere to hide.
you have
But
to.
if that
You have to.
situation comes, I'm going to be more frightened of the general population than I would be army coming to camp.
Not, but see,
Because it's going to be other civilians that attack you and try to take over.
The very structure itself, I mean, there's different levels of society that we have throughout the world. And its very basics is only designed to fail because from the moment of its conception, it's there to put people in little groups and then probably try and project that group over the other group. So there's always a competition. And unfortunately, the impoverished and the vulnerable are the ones at the very bottom who haven't got any fight and haven't got any voice as well. So there is an them thing, but generally it just splits and divides people per se, doesn't it?
Well, let me ask you a question. Y'all. Why do we do that? Now, if we understand that the government is a representative of its people, then why are we a reflection of the government? You know, every civilization is the same. So the question is always asked, do people change? Well, they refer to themselves like, well, but no, do people change? They're talking about all of us, because through every civilization, we do the same thing. So they rise, they fall from the same cause and have the same effect. We cannot come together. We allow people to separate us. So individuals need to reevaluate that question and look at it as a people, we the people, you know, and we individualize that, but which I don't understand, you know. But as long as these governments gain control and we are a reflection of the government versus the government a reflection of ourselves, until we understand that, then we're going to keep rising and falling and rising and falling, you know.
Yeah, it's like the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain. You know, you thought it was one thing, and until the dog pulled the curtain back, you know, it's that veil. We thought we had democracy, mate. You know, Brexit. You know, I've always felt for years voting was a waste of time. Anyway, it was always rigged. You couldn't totally trust the politicians, and whatever they said, they spoke out of both sides of the mouth, and you got to see that over time. Anyway, and then it always became the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, hoping for a different result, but the same thing happens over and over again. So it seems like that with politics. And like I say, there's something very dangerous and nefarious about playing that game, because ultimately that helps to divide us as a people. You know what I mean? You're taking a side straight away. You're actually putting your hopes and dreams into them when it should be maybe that group of people around you, because ultimately now, I could be stood next to another guy who believes in a totally different politician to me. We're next door neighbours. We have the same bills, the same ups, the same downs. But he hates my guts because I want to vote for him, and I think he's not that nice because he wants to vote. And that's the confusing part of what I regard as the shared truth.
You know why we can't understand it? Because we awaken. We see. That's why we can't. That's why we can't understand it. But you know, and I asked myself that question. But I was like, man, you know what? I just didn't care. It's not that it's that they don't care, and they just get so swept up in the narrative. And the way to get someone to conform to something is to get a bunch more people to conform to it. So now you don't want to be the outcast.
Yes.
So you sit back and you just like, I'ma just struggle along, you know. And I'm telling you, we're in a situation now, so we have a choice. And we either going left, or we're going right, or we're going straight ahead. You know, but see, we limit our choices. You know, we think we make these choices but they are Democrat and Republican. We're making a choice. No, you're not making a choice, because they're going to give you two.
For me, individualism is what a human being is all about. You know, freedom of expression and thoughts. You touched on it before, Mark, by saying we live in a sort of a collective society where you do feel left out if you don't comply, or if you don't basically conform with what other people are wearing. I think trends itself is a collectivized way of pulling everyone together. Because the idea of being in that collectivist system is more alone than the bleeding outfit themselves, because they want to be seen to be at the edge, the cutting edge of trends, when they don't realise they're being told what to wear. That's all it is. You could wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to put them on. No, this is saying you're going to look so good if you put them on. You might not. You might look an absolute pillock. But the bottom line is they made you feel good because you entered that contract of being in a collectivized hive mind that's wearing it. If some guy walks past you in that same skirt, you're going to think, yes, I knew I made the right decision. You might both look a pair of bits.
I'm gonna give you a better example. Here in the U.S., if I ride down the road, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna see somebody jamming to rap music. Now, you won't hear bluegrass turned all the way up. Every now and then, you might got a country boy that's proud that'll put on some country. But if a black person loves country, they jamming, I'm gonna tell you this now, they turned all the way up, but they pull up to somebody with the windows down, another black person, right? Guess what they gonna do? They gonna turn that thing down, right? But if they listen to rap music, they gonna turn it up.
Yeah.
So it's like, and even now the younger white generations are conformed to, because like, hey, listen, this is the music right here that everybody listens to. But I rarely hear country turned up a gospel, or the rap. Hip hop is only, not even R&B. It's the hip hop is the one main music that's turned blasting. I'm tired of these countries being so separated. Is the only way I can know you is if I live there. You know, we need to use social media. Actually, use social media, not let social media use us.
Yeah.
So if we have a way to connect, but we still choose to stay in a box and let the algorithm tell us what we watch.
Sorry, there's been a question here. This is going to be the last question set to both of you. What will it take to stop it and change things?
A shift in humanity. We've got to hit a level. We've got to hit a level. Do you know? And you just think, oh God, I could waterboard her on a Saturday night. Them kids are screaming, but eventually, them kids are going to be screaming and they're going to be hungry, and you're going to want to feed them. And that's where your shift of humanity will come, and people will genuinely come together. But unfortunately, I think people have got to drop a lot level. There's got to be more levels that get dropped. People, you look at what happened. A 90-odd-year-old man got arrested.
Our country is pretty on top in terms of how draconian the current guidelines are. Basically, so we've had a lot of protests that has been going on because of it. It's indiscriminate on how and who has been arrested. Very dubious. No matter what the age, the sex, or even the colour. You know what I mean? They'll just literally pick them off the street, and there's no common sense in a sense that if there's an event with 100 people there, they won't arrest 100 people. They'll go in and snatch 3 or 4 people and create a shock kind of consequence to the rest of it. You know what I mean?
They're basically going in and they want to know what general public's reaction's going to be to arresting a 90-odd-year-old man. And do you know what were really sad? They stood and filmed it.
Y'all just said something. So as y'all talking, everything just came to fruition for me. You say, what is it going to take to change humanity? And you know, the question that was answered is that, you know, it's gonna get worse. Well, if you look at Africa, okay, now when the earth gets torched, it gets cleaned and it grows back more beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how it clears. And another thing was about to tie into each other is we have to stop responding and we have to slow down. And now if we do that, we have to be the ones.
What will it take to stop and change things? What will it take? It's going to take people hitting their rock bottom. Just like an alcoholic, what's it going to take for an alcoholic to stop? is when he realizes, or when she realizes, the pennies drop within them. So what would I say the solution is with this? Individuals, yourself, me, you, Yvonne, it's a personal, internal answer. That's what's going to stop this, and it will stop it overnight if people get it and use what is happening now to re-evolve themselves and their conscious psyche. Now that sounds very dramatic and spiritual, but for me, when you touched on people reacting to the anger, reacting to the fear, because they have got no choice, because it's being pumped like never before, the only way to navigate that is to internalize, look at the world as if it was a picture on the wall, rather than you being a part of that picture. And your decisions will become a lot clearer and probably a lot wiser and cautious as well. So it's us. That's the simple answer. It's us. That's how we change it.
We treat a video game life more than if we have one life on a video game, we're gonna take care of that life. We're gonna make sure we do everything. But our life, we don't do our life like that. So it's you got a point there. I honestly think that we can do this. But the thing about it is, individuals that we can't help, you gotta walk away. True. You gotta walk away. You can't save them, because what's going to happen is they're going to drag you down. If individuals not for you, you can't stay. You can't keep moving the individual to keep robbing you and then going and buying drugs with and robbing you, buying drugs with. Sooner they're going to go broke. I mean, you got to let them go, and that's our problem. We're so scared to let go.
I mean, with people like that, it's like bad energy. If you're surrounding yourself with bad energy, you become a product of that bad energy, whether you like it or not, because there's only so much you can take, and we've all been, we've all had it. Yvonne and I have had many chats about this, and we've all had bad experiences, and we know when we're in the company of energy that gets the wrong side of us, brings out the bad in us, or they can, you can actually be a negative way towards someone because there's so many.
It's chemistry. It's true. The laws of chemistry, if they looked at that, that's how we move. If the energy, if I take that energy, a group of people, and we're already made, all I need to do is light a firework or throw something, and what that's going to do is it's going to set everything off, because the energy is already building. So you got to separate the energy. You can't, when you heat up atoms, what they do, they group together and they move faster. But if you cool them down, it slows down and spread them apart. So, as long as we keep heating them up, they're going to get hotter, and move faster. But if you cool them down, they're going to slow down and they're going to spread apart. So it's the law. It's how it works. Seriously.
I'm just going to say it in a really simple way. Just be wise who you exchange your energy with. Because everything is about energy and a wavelength and what you project and who you are. So if somebody's negative, do you know what I mean? You can either exchange that energy and it be negative, or you just walk by and carry everything positive. I don't have a page. This is my first live feed. Phil's actually been trying to get me to come in these live streams. And we had a chat today, and I was like, do you know what, Phil? I'm going to give this a bit of a go.
Where's Tony and everybody at?
Can I just say, considering Yvonne is for the first time doing a stream, don't you think?
And I didn't have any clue of what we were going to talk about. It's not like I could do any research. I could get to ask great questions. I was just thrown in deep end.
I thought you was like a CNN reporter or something. I was like, Ray, who you don't sent me over here, man? You don't set me up. We need to get these clowns off of YouTube. They're doing the same thing that these news stations doing, just reporting and ain't not doing no unity or no type of they're just reporting the same stuff that the news doing. And I'm just saying, we need to
program into it. That's what they're doing with news station. It doesn't even matter what country you're in. It's all predictive programming and it's all saying bullshit.
Well, I'm holding people accountable. I'm calling people out. I've been calling people out. If you don't do right, you're gonna shut down. Because see, that's the first thing we gotta do. we got to have the courage to call people out and say what you're doing is wrong. Hold people accountable. Say and let people know. But we feel like it's or stopping somebody.
I know, but then all you do then is you concentrate it and you just go down that dark rabbit hole of trying to get people to accept accountability and hold people accountable instead of, concentrating on in united and bringing people up and lifting that humanity level that needs to come.
Yeah. So, and y'all got a doggone good point. And this goes back to the low poverty areas. Now, at what point do you hold people accountable, and what point do you not say anything? Because if you see something going on in the neighborhood or whatever in your area, and you know it's wrong, and you don't say anything, and then now it blows up. And now,
I know the difference between holding people accountable. It's like holding politicians, and I think they've got that narrative of holding people accountable. But if you're walking down the street and you're seeing somebody being attacked or somebody being raped or something like that, then it's a can't do it right thing, isn't it? And that's you need to call police or you need to call for help.
You know what made me? I guess I got angry because during this time of uncertainty, and individuals really don't understand how serious it is. When I see people take advantage of people, like literally take advantage of people, it made me mad, because you were doing something, using people's emotions and leading them the wrong way intentionally. And I guess I just couldn't sit there and just be like, now I'm not going to keep repeating it and drilling it, but I'm like, listen, that's wrong. And when you lead somebody the wrong way like that, that's a dangerous path, and taking advantage of people. People are struggling right now. They're hurting. It is.
Right.
But you're not going to change that person, though. You wouldn't. I mean, you're saying accept accountability, but if that person's designed that way, that is going to abuse people, that is going to use people, that is narcissistic, then you're not going to be able to change that person. All you can do is change yourself and make sure it doesn't happen. And at the same time, and I know this sounds really awful, you can't save everybody from that person either. You can't spend the rest of your life going, don't talk to so and so because they're an evil man.
She lying, Phil. She been doing this for 20 years.
I'm telling you, this is why I'll give it 6 months, right? And this lady will be all over the UK, splashing out Yorkshire dialects all over the place. I'm telling you, she's gonna run things.
You know what? Hey Phil, I'm wrong. You're right. We're gonna do that because I'm gonna let you know, and I'm gonna acknowledge you and say that you were right, because that was man. Thank you. And see, that's how we learn from each other. I'm telling you, that's
right.
I love that.
That's how we grow. That's how we shift humanity.
This is
in a positive way and in a positive light, because, like I keep saying, only light can defeat the darkness, and only positive action is going to be able to do that. And it's going to be a slow process. I said to Phil, I said, unfortunately, we're on a ship. And it don't matter how much you keep pedaling backwards, we're still going to go in a certain direction, and we don't know what's going to happen until we're at beach.
I can see Yvonne Black here, our guest, taking America by storm.
Listen, I'm telling you,
I've been invited on quite a lot of live streams, and I keep saying no.
Next time, I'm gonna sit back and just let her talk. I'm listening because you really have a lot to say. I'm telling you. Don't downgrade yourself. You really have a lot to say, and it makes sense.
It's getting it out in right order, and it's getting it out instead of it being babbles or like little short bursts. I just need to be able to put it in order.
Aren't we all like that?
Well, I'm gonna run, Phil. I'm gonna get in here, man, and I got some work to do. And hey, listen, let me know next time. We can do it. Listen, and we can do it anytime. We don't have to be, let's do it twice a month. We gotta do it more than once a month, Phil. Come on.
Yeah. Well, what we'll have to do then is next time is actually pick a topic. Right?
Listen, y'all be safe over there. If y'all need some help, man, I send the troops.
Right, mate.
And I'm looking forward to getting to know the American audience a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah. Before you go, mate, just quickly give your details of where people can reach you.
Hey, listen, reach me, V Versa. That's V/VERSA. And I'm on TikTok. What's that? YouTube. I'm gonna hit some other spots too. I'm gonna spread out a little bit. Like I said, if you want to email me, it's v20versa@gmail.com. So like I say, hey, jump on. we finna rock and roll, Phil. I promise you, man. It's time to take off.
Sir, thank you for your time, Mark. You and your family have a very righteous and blessed weekend, and we'll be in touch over the next few days about when we're coming back on again, yeah?
God bless.
Talk to you later.
See you later, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Well, what did you think of Mark then, Yvonne?
It's a very interesting character, isn't he? Very interesting. And I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more inside his mindset and where he's actually, because I didn't quite understand where he got to where he got to. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. What triggered it? It was more of a voice at night time. So I'd like to learn a little bit more about that. I'd like to know what his theory is and what theory he's working on.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like he's keeping his cards close to his chest, but I think, like anyone else, he's trying to answer everyone's questions in one stream. It's hard to do, innit? It took me 4 years for people to get a basic idea of what I'm about, because you can't do that in one video. No matter how many questions you ask, people have got to understand you, and you need to be constantly talking about different issues to get an overall. It's like, I could never totally get where you come from, Yvonne, just off one phone call. We get to know each other over successive conversations, and we get similarities, things with this, you know what I mean? So I'm sure in time that will come out. What really interests me about him is his soul, if that makes any sense.
He's got a good soul, and he's just got a good energy. He's got a niceness about him.
Yes. And that is so important in this. And
a likability.
Yeah. But as a trustability thing as well, if you've not been corrupted and you've got that mindset, that is a person.
Kind of innocent, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, so trusting, because I know whatever he does, I've got faith in what he does, and I know he's not doing it for nefarious reasons, trying to make money. He's just got like an empath. He said it before. He hates people.
He's trying to make sense out of chaos.
Aren't we all? And we know he's got the right ideals behind him. And if you don't like people being taken advantage of, what's going on in the world today is the biggest advantage power grab that the world has ever seen. So no doubt it has activated a lot of light people to battle this dark energy, Yvonne. You know what I mean?
Well, like I say, it is a spiritual battle, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So
it is, Yvonne. But listen, Yvonne, I'm going to call it there because I better go up to the wife and go and say hello. Listen, thank you.
I know, I'm going to go and get a cup of coffee because I've not had one for about 2 hours.
Oh, honestly, you need to get the kettle next to you next time and just, so we've got constant breeze.
I know, but all you're going to hear is a bubbling at kettle, do you know what I mean? And then I'll get accused of other things.
Oh, Jesus, let's not go there. Listen, thank you. Thank you for everything. I know I've thrown you in the deep end tonight, but look how good you've done.
I'm looking forward to talking to other people and actually knowing what topic is and doing a bit of research and finding out what's what.
Excellent. So, Yvonne,
good night.
You have a great weekend. You stay safe, and we'll be in touch next weekend, and we'll have a good old natter.
And just like they do in America, good night from Yorkshire.
Stay blessed, Yvonne. See you later.
Blessed be the fruit.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'd just like to say a big thank you to Mark and to Yvonne for their time and their thoughts as well, currently on what's going on. It's been brilliant. Thank you to Katie Jane Swallow and all the affiliates. And thank you to people for taking the time out. And thank you to all those people who are trying to spread the light in these dark times. I think you can only fight the dark through light. I do truly believe that. And hopefully it will prevail as well. And even if only for your own state of mind and balance, it is better to stay in the light than in the dark. So with that, guys, I'm going to thank you all very much. Please like and share this. It was on childrenmatter.news, soon to be put up on my Red Pill Phil channel on YouTube in about a week, 10 days time. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Stay blessed. And remember, I love you all.
I love you all. I love you all.
Even the pissing haters. I love you.